Okay, so in this video, I will be talking you through how to do well in Criterion E, realizing design ideas. This section is worth 20 marks, so another big chunk of your NEA which needs to be done well. The majority of the marks for this section come and are taken from the practical work and the final outcome that you produce. But there are also a few pages that you need to include to prove that you've done certain things. So the main things we'll only be looking for to get this top band, making sure that you get this 16 to 20 marks, are showing that you've used the correct tools and materials and equipment, including computer-aided manufacture where appropriate. You've used them safely and with a high level of skill. They need to make sure that there is a high quality control, ensuring that the prototype is accurately and consistently applied, made to a very close tolerance. The prototype shows exceptional high level making and finishing and is fully consistent with the desired outcomes, and then we need to prove that the product is potential to be commercially made, so made in industry, perhaps in factories. So basically the main part of this criterion will come from us looking at your practical work and seeing that it is how well it is made, and shows that it is made using a variety of different tools, equipment and materials. But you do need to include, as I said, a few pages in your NEA which backs this up. The first page which we need to look at is the plan of manufacture. So on the plan of manufacture page, you need to split your product up into all its parts and produce a table that looks like this. This is something that you need to do beforehand. So it's a plan. You need all the steps of making the particular part. You need an explanation of what will happen or what you plan to do to manufacture it. Then you need to make sure you use a relevant quality control or quality assurance. Basically, this means the checks that you do to make sure that the product comes out to a high standard. So for example, if we are using a 3D printer, the quality control checks will make sure that you have the correct material loaded, you've got set the correct settings on the product, and that you have all of the things set correctly on the 3D printer to ensure that the product comes out to a high standard. You might also put in a visual check afterwards to make sure that the product is up to the standard that you wanted. Health and safety, are there any particular things that you need to do in relation to make sure that you use the tools and equipment safely? This might be personal protective equipment, this might be making sure that the extractions and things like that are on, but things that you do to make sure that you stay safe. We then talk about the tools and the equipment that you plan to use, and you might want to include a couple of pictures of these if you have space on your plan of manufacture page. But you need to include every part and how you plan to make it. We then move on and we have the process diary. The process diary is documenting what really actually happened when you made your product. It might be slightly different than your plan, but that's okay. Not all plans obviously are effective, and there may be changes that happen during the manufacturing process, but this is basically exactly what happened as you went through. While you're making your practical work, you need to ensure that you take photographs of every stage of the manufacturing process. These photographs will be included into your process diary, and you need to split this up into the main processes of manufacturing. So here we've got 7. Cutting out on the CNC, gluing the pieces together, drilling holes, and so on. You need to include a picture, the tools and equipment that you used, an explanation of what you did, and this proves the complexity and it proves the amount of tools that you used. Again, talking about quality control and quality assurance, what you did to make sure the product turned out accurately, and then what health and safety procedures to show that you did it correctly and you did it safely. So each stage needs all of these different aspects added to it. If you have space, you might want to put a picture of the final product, but that's not 100% necessary. It's just because the student on this particular page had some space left over. And then we have some pictures of the final outcome. So you need to take a variety of different pictures, perhaps showing the product being used, the different parts, different angles, and the different things to show off your product and all of the different aspects and parts to it. You might want to take your product apart and put it in pieces if that's appropriate or at all doable. But on here you need to show the final outcome and include some descriptions and how different parts are made, and show the product off in a good light. This is basically the final part of the making and shows all of the evidence for Criterion E, showing you've used all the tools and equipment, and you have a final outcome with a variety of different skills.